Lethal injection. Lethal injection was first used in 1982 in Texas, United States. Since then, it has become the most common execution method in the modern world, particularly in the US, China, Thailand, and several African nations. It is typically applied to inmates sentenced to death for crimes like premeditated murder, terrorism, or major drug offenses. The procedure includes 3 steps: a sedative, a muscle relaxant, and a lethal drug to stop the heart. Although designed to appear humane, many human rights organizations argue it violates the right to life and may cause hidden suffering. Electric chair. The electric chair was first used in 1890 in New York, United States, as an alternative to hanging. It is still used in a few U.S. states, such as Tennessee and South Carolina, typically applied to inmates convicted of capital murder. The procedure involves placing electrodes on the head and leg, then delivering a high-voltage electric current to induce cardiac arrest. Although it appears instant, the electric chair often causes severe burns and intense pain. Many human rights groups condemn it as cruel and inhumane. Hanging. Hanging is one of the oldest execution methods in the world, used since the Middle Ages. It is still practiced today in countries like Iran, Japan, Singapore, and Malaysia, mainly for crimes like murder, terrorism, and drug trafficking. The procedure involves placing a rope around the neck, then dropping the prisoner from a height to snap the neck instantly. If miscalculated, the person may suffer a slow death by strangulation. While seen as traditional, many human rights organizations consider it cruel and prone to torture. Firing squad. Firing squad is an execution method still used in countries like Indonesia, China, North Korea, and Somalia. It is typically reserved for serious crimes such as terrorism and large-scale drug trafficking. The prisoner is either tied or made to stand, then a group of executioners fires at the heart or head. It is known to be quick and effective, but visually brutal. In many countries, it's criticized for being inhumane and causing psychological trauma to both executors and witnesses. Beheading. Beheading is still officially practiced in Saudi Arabia, mainly for serious crimes such as murder, rape, and apostasy. The execution is carried out in public, where an executioner uses a large sword to decapitate the prisoner in one swift motion. When done correctly, it's considered fast, but it is highly controversial due to its brutal nature and public spectacle. Gas chamber. The gas chamber was first used in the United States in 1924. The inmate is sealed in an airtight chamber, and toxic gas like hydrogen cyanide is released. Death occurs within 5 to 10 minutes and can cause convulsions and intense panic. Today, this method is rarely used but remains legal in some U.S. states as an alternative. Stoning. Stoning is an ancient execution method still practiced in some regions under strict Sharia law, such as Iran, Somalia, and parts of Nigeria. It is typically used for crimes like adultery or severe moral violations. The convict is partially buried, then pelted with stones by a crowd until death. The process is slow and painful, often lasting several minutes. Human rights organizations strongly condemn this method as extremely brutal, degrading, and a clear form of public torture. Burning alive. Burning at the stake is one of the most painful and horrific execution methods in history. It was widely used in medieval Europe, especially to punish women accused of witchcraft, heresy, or sorcery. The prisoner was tied to a post and burned alive in public. Death could take 10 to 20 minutes, with intense screaming and suffering. Today, this method is globally condemned as an act of extreme cruelty and a blatant violation of human rights, now abandoned and seen as torture. Upside-down hanging. Upside-down hanging is a method of execution or torture historically used by authoritarian regimes, such as under Benito Mussolini in Italy. The victim's body is suspended by the feet, causing blood to rush to the head, extreme pain, and slow death due to internal bleeding or ruptured vessels. This method was often used to humiliate political prisoners or traitors in public. Human rights organizations strongly condemn it for combining torture and execution in a brutal, inhumane way. Drowning. Execution by drowning was widely used in the past, especially in medieval Europe and parts of Asia. The victim was tied up, weighed down, and thrown into a river or sea. It was commonly applied to women accused of witchcraft, rebellious slaves, or political prisoners. Death by suffocation could take several minutes and involved intense suffering. Today, this method is no longer officially practiced, as it is considered cruel, inhumane, and a violation of human rights. Crushing. Crushing execution involves slowly pressing the victim's body using heavy stones or machinery until vital organs are destroyed. This method was historically used in ancient India to punish traitors or serious criminals. In Europe, it was known as pressing to death, notably used in 17th century England and colonial America. The process was extremely painful and could take hours. Human rights organizations strongly condemn this method as an extreme form of torture and a severe violation of human dignity. Impalement. Impalement is one of the most brutal execution methods in history. The victim is forced onto or pierced through the body with a sharp stake from below, often causing a slow, agonizing death. This method was famously used by Vlad the Impaler in 15th century Romania to punish enemies or major criminals. Victims could remain alive for hours or even days, dying from internal bleeding. Today, this method is considered a severe form of torture and a gross violation of human rights. Forced organ harvesting. Forced organ harvesting is an execution method involving the removal of vital organs from prisoners while alive or immediately after death. Allegations have been most frequently directed at China, particularly involving political prisoners, ethnic minorities such as Uyghurs, and Falun Gong practitioners. This method is conducted in secret, without consent, and serves the demand for organ transplants. The United Nations and various international human rights organizations strongly condemn this practice as a grave human rights violation and a crime against humanity. Guillotine. The guillotine is an execution device that beheads the victim with a heavy blade dropped from a height. It became iconic during the French Revolution and was designed to provide a quick and supposedly humane death. Thousands, including nobles and political figures, were executed using this device. France used the guillotine until 1977, abolishing the death penalty in 1981. Although faster than many other methods, it is still considered a human rights violation due to the loss of life and human dignity. Crucified. Crucifixion is an ancient execution method where the victim is nailed or tied to a wooden cross and left to die slowly from wounds, thirst, and exhaustion. It was widely used by the Roman Empire to punish slaves, rebels, and major criminals. Jesus Christ is the most well-known victim of this method. Death could take hours or even days. Today, this method is extremely rare and heavily condemned for being a form of brutal torture and a severe violation of human rights.